Hello there, Chris Piercer here of Wedding Industry Wisdom. Just starting the live just a few minutes early, just to give people a chance to turn up. I've just become acutely aware of I have a very bright light shining to my right. Thus you can see my beautiful profile shadowed on the wall. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of it or it's quite off-putting, but I'm going to run with it for now. So yes, hopefully we'll be joined by Jack soon. We'll see if we can get some of our favourite people watching. Because this is nothing without you. We always appreciate your comments. We always appreciate your questions and your heckling. So that's going to invite a whole bunch of people. Jack should be one of them soon. And yeah, plenty to talk about the stuff that's been going on that I've been doing, that Jack's been doing. Yeah, so if there's a couple of people watching now, apparently. So let me know who you are. Say hello. Ask me a question, and I can answer honestly, rather than have to filtering it through Jack. So Jack is now watching, so that's that opportunity gone. Jack is asking to be in the video, which we will allow. The people watching live is just rocketing up to I make it 5 now, so say hello if you're...
Hello.
Oh, not you.
Oh.
Or it can be.
Hello.
That's better. I don't know if you were watching for long enough. My part of my screen's cut off now, but I've got a light shining next to me, so you can have
I can see that.
So now we can just have me and my shadow, my side profile talking for the duration, if you want.
Oh, please don't do that.
That's a little bit freaky. It's a bit freaky, isn't it?
I know, it's just a bit weird.
Hello. Like a lizard.
Can we... It's beautiful. Shall we do this, Chris, before you ruin everything?
Okay. I've got a nice mug of tea. Have you got a mug of tea with you?
I don't know. I've got a glass of water.
I demand that you get yourself a mug of tea, or...
It's not happening, Chris. I'm sorry.
It's so boring. We have to talk about what we're talking about now. You realise? Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Hello there, Chris Piercy here of Wedding Industry Wisdom, joined as always by Jackie B. Brister.
Why do you do that?
because it makes you do that.
Okay. So if I just went, oh, that's really nice, you'd stop doing it.
Pretty much. Should we do that again? You can just react completely normally, then I won't do it again.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Hi there, Chris Piercy here of Wedding Industry Wisdom, joined as always by Mr. Jackie B. Brister.
Hello.
See, now we've just got that one single clip, which I can rinse forever, where you perfectly happily being called Jackie B. Brister. But, you know, the fun is ruined by the fact that you didn't react to it that time. So, well played. Well played.
Thank you.
How are
we doing? You go first.
Pretty much normal for me, so, yeah.
Yourself? Back hurts and you are doing all right.
Hurts them, and I'm grumpy. So
sums you up perfectly. That
I'm quite pleased with how well I did at a wedding fair, off my tits on painkillers while still in pain. So,
do you want to talk about that?
Can do.
Go for it. I'm interested to hear your experiences, so go for it.
Well, as some of you may or may not know, I've got a slipped disc, and I've done the whole wedding season with it.
Have you? You've not mentioned it once.
There could be new listeners.
Okay.
It's very painful. Yeah, so I did a wedding fair yesterday, because basically standing aggravates it. So a wedding fair's more or less about the worst thing possible for it. So I took a stool with me, so that I could kind of rest intermittently, because the second worst thing for it is sitting. It's just a great combination. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to take painkillers, and basically it was bad enough that the painkillers just didn't do anything. So I was basically off my face trying to sell, and while still in pain. So not the best combination, but I still walked away with 1,800 quid booked in, which is like 1,000% ROI. So we'll take that. Well, it's like 1,500% ROI. So very happy with that, and there'll be a couple more that come in from it. But the the experience of it was kind of strange because obviously I'm a little bit spacey when I'm on my pills. I'm on them now. I'm a bit spacey. So
I
it
hadn't
was.
noticed.
They hadn't noticed. No, no, it does. It was an interesting experience because basically I was trying to do it a faster sale so I could take a break as quickly as possible, and also it made me become very picky and choosy about who I could be bothered to stand up and talk to.
Right.
So for me, it was more like, okay, you could be my ideal client, but you're probably not. If you come to me, I'll talk to you. I'm not going to stop you. Whereas, normally if unless it's, I'll be like that when it's really, really busy, but it was not really busy. It was just steady, which I kind of like. And then it's meant, no, you're probably not quite right for me. No, you're probably not right for me. Yes, you're definitely right for me. I'll speak to you. And it was the ones that and then most people who I stopped and then spoke to were then incredibly interested in who I am, what I was doing, and hence my services. So it worked pretty well in terms of conversion rate from speaking to getting details and stuff like that. So I didn't get as many leads, but I probably got the same amount of quality leads, if that makes sense. Because sometimes you take people's details down and you kind of think, I'm never going to hear from you again. Whereas most of the people, I think 90% of the people who I took details from, I reckon I'll be hearing from again. So yeah, it was.
Okay.
I was just a little bit more picky than I would normally be because that's
So is that something you're going to take forward into future wedding fairs, being more picky with the people you talk to?
um, not necessarily because I think that you can sometimes be surprised. So the one of the people that booked me yesterday, they were speaking to the DJ next to me, Mark Gerard. They booked him, and then I kind of looked over to see what I was doing, and the guy said, "We're going to come and speak to you in a minute." So I probably wouldn't have stopped them myself, but then they booked what is now my middle package, but what was my top package, like on
Yeah.
the day, deposit done, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Whereas I probably wouldn't stop them. So I think that you have to be a little bit careful with like, oh, I'm only speaking to people who fit into this exact demographic. I think you do have to have, there is grey areas either side of what you think is your perfect client.
Mm.
But yeah, they were super excited about everything I was doing, and were like, yeah, we think that package is going to be perfect for us. I think they would have gone for the top package, which includes hosting, but the DJ they booked was doing the hosting for them. So
Yeah.
yeah, if it wasn't for that, they would have gone for the very top package. So it was a successful day, but I think I probably was more efficient with how I was doing stuff. I didn't bother with people who I thought were just going to be time wasters, and yeah, it went pretty well for me. And I think that there will be more bookings off the back of it as well. So it will be end up being a very decent fair.
Okay. So you said you ended up having to streamline your sales process a little bit as well. Did you learn anything from that? Like, if there are any bits that you realise now were essentially redundant or that you might be taking forwards?
Well, I think that obviously we just released the wedding fair course, which you took the lead on, and there was a couple of pieces from that which I put into practice. And I think that and you will have noticed this if you've listened to this, I'm not very good at not talking. So I made sure that I was putting in more yes questions to give them the chance to talk, check understanding with them, and then because sometimes when you're giving a sales pitch, you can stop, you can ask a question, and then they'll fill in the next bit that you want to say like themselves. So, for instance, you can stop, and then someone says, "Oh, do you go around the tables, or do you like mix and mingle thing?" Whereas some people don't know what going around the tables or mix and mingle really means. So if someone brings it up themselves, that means you can cut out that kind of minute or 30 seconds or 45 seconds of spiel by letting them fill it in themselves and just confirming that their understanding of it is correct. So yeah, I think definitely on the level of taking more breaks and allowing people to answer is definitely something I'm going to be taking on moving forwards because I think as a magician the job is a little bit harder at wedding fairs, and this is the same for things like, I don't know, a good example, like popcorn machines and sweet carts. Anything that's like a bonus extra or fits into that category, because you've got two jobs to do. You firstly got to convince people that what you're selling is a good idea in itself, and then second of all, you've got to convince them that you are the best choice within that category. So you're selling them on the idea and then yourself, which is not the quickest thing to do. And when people are in a rush at a wedding fair, it can be difficult. So if people can fill in their own understanding of stuff themselves, it makes it a lot easier.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that. So, would you say that your kind of your takeaway from that is to not assume complete ignorance on the client's part all the time?
Yeah, I think that I'm definitely going to be including more questions, I think, because it does give people the opportunity to then let you know what they know. Because you occasionally you'll have people come up to you and say, "Oh, do you go around the tables?" And you go, "Oh, I can do whatever you want." Oh, brilliant! I didn't want around the tables. What I wanted was this. And then they've already seen it somewhere else, and then you can completely cut out all of the spiel about how it works and what you do or whatever, and then you can just say, "Here's a trick," and they go, "Oh, you seem to be good at what you're doing. We'll book you."
Yeah.
And obviously relate that. Obviously, me and Jack know our part of things very well, but I'm sure that people can relate that to their own section of the wedding industry relatively easily, hopefully.
Yeah, I think the thing that a lot of people and a lot of sales experts, in inverted commas, say is that you need to almost treat the client like they know nothing, the potential client like they know nothing. But the reality is, certainly with things that are almost essential for a wedding, like the venues and the photographers and the DJs and those kind of things, the makeup artists, people have an understanding as to what you do already and they probably have an idea as to what they are expecting you to do at their wedding. So to treat them with complete ignorance is, I think, a foolish thing to do, because you're essentially saying, you don't know anything about this, you don't know what you want, this is what I want to do for you. Whereas if you actually found out what they already know, if they know anything at all, then you're essentially allowing them to tell you what you need to sell them on. So they're
Yeah.
essentially they're making your life easier if you can ask the right questions to find out what they're after. So I think that's a really good thing to do, rather than just going, you don't know anything, I'm going to tell you what you want. Instead, find out if they know what they want, and then find out what they want, and then sell them on that. Or if they are barking up the wrong tree, steer them in the right direction. So, for example, using magicians, because it's an easy one, saying, I want some, oh yeah, I was looking at having some magic during the evening. We know as magicians that's not always the best idea, because you've got the band on or the DJ's on, so you won't be able to hear us as well, it'll be darker, it's not the best time to do it. So it allows us a chance to say, well, actually, you might want to do this, that and the other instead. But equally, if they came and said, we want some stuff during the wedding breakfast, or we want some stuff during the drinks reception, then you know exactly what you need to do as a magician to sell them on that. And the same applies to other suppliers as well. So I think that's a really nice thing.
Yeah, I think that if you're in a sector of the wedding industry which is, let's say, non-essential, I think is a good way of putting it. Quite a nice question to ask people at wedding fairs, or even kind of more so at wedding fairs than any other situations probably, is, have you ever seen a popcorn stand?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a magician at a wedding? If they have, then they will either already know exactly how it's going to work on their exact experience of it, or they're going to go, no, it seems really weird to me. Can you explain how it works? Or they might just go, no, that's not for me. Thank you very much. I think that the misconception, and I think one of the reasons that sales gets a dirty word, is as a salesperson, which every person in the wedding industry is, as a salesperson, you're not trying to take the no's and make them into yeses. You're trying to take the I'm sat on the fence, or the maybes, and turn them into yeses. Because if you've got someone who comes up to your stand, you're trying to show them a trick, if you're a magician or whatever, and you say, would you like to see a trick? And they go, oh no, I hate magic. I can't imagine anything worse than a magician going around and doing tricks to my guests. It's just the worst. Then, your job isn't to then go, no, I'm different. I can do a better trick or whatever. The amount of energy expenditure you take and time trying to make that no into a yes is, and the chances are you're not going to do it anyway because of whatever preconceptions they have. Don't waste your time on it. Concentrate on the people who are like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard of that before. Can you tell me a bit more?
Yeah.
It's those ones that you want to convince. So, whether that's a magician, popcorn stand, photo booth, whatever it might be, that's the kind of the route that I'd, advise going down. Don't waste your time on the nose.
Definitely, and to kind of just put it in context of perhaps a different industry, so you're not going magician's central here.
Yeah.
If perhaps a stationer might be a good example here, so you might talk to someone you might approach someone, sorry, at a wedding fair and say, have you thought about your stationery for your wedding? And they might go, yeah, we're just going to buy some stuff from Clinton, buy the invitation cards from Clinton's because I can get 100 of them for 50p or whatever the price is for them. I don't see the point in paying £2.50 a card or whatever a professional stationer is. Your job is not to convince that person that actually paying £2.50 per card is worth it, because it's not. For them, it's not. For you, obviously for other people it 100% is, but for them it's never going to convince them. But if you go up to someone and they say, well, we hadn't really thought about it yet, or we're interested, we're finding out different options for getting invites out, we're looking for something a little bit different, then those are the kinds of people you want to be talking to and selling to, because those are the people who you can convert into a sale, rather than the people who are like, no, it sounds like a waste of money.
Yeah, completely. I think that's sums it up very nicely. Julie says, has the video stopped? It hasn't. We haven't got any problems at our end. Well,
No, so we'll keep.
We'll keep an eye
I've
on
disappeared. Oh wait, yeah, there's some stuff. No, I'm still there. Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at it on my computer as well.
I've had a perfect flow of conversation. Denise says, I don't understand why you have half a head on your shadow. I was just being weird. Sorry about that. Just having some fun.
That was Chris being weird. It's true. So shall we run through what's gone on this week?
Yes, let's.
So the first thing that pops up on my my Facebook thread here for the Wedding Industry Wisdom group is, of course, the national tag someone in the comments who you think would benefit from a member of the group day.
And how many comments did we have on that?
We had a few. I don't know, really know, 4, 5, 6, 5 or 6, with lots of people commenting, leaving their friends who think would benefit from this group. Remember, it is a completely free group. If you are listening to the podcast and you are wondering what we're talking about, then Wedding Industry Wisdom group on Facebook is a completely free group to join, where you are able to find out everything about what we do, how we work, and ask any questions you might have about your wedding industry problems. Good evening, Ricky. How are you?
It also allows you to add your voice to the conversation as well.
It does, yeah. So if you want to be on these podcast recordings, then and you have a question you want us to answer, then you can join us on the Wedding Industry Wisdom group, as these lovely people such as Julie, Ricky, Steve's on here, Neil, Denise, all of these people are on. A couple of others as well. So if we carry on with what else has happened,
Well,
Greg says,
can I? I just want to draw attention to this post, because we did a competition last week where we said tag someone who you think would benefit from getting our latest course on wedding fairs. We had one person successfully enter that competition, and then we did this other thing this week where we said, I'll tag someone where you think would benefit from the group. And both of these probably got the lowest interaction of anything on the entirety of our group. So I have drawn the conclusion from this very small data set that Facebook's algorithm doesn't like it when you use the word tag, or it picks up on the fact that you say tag someone, because I think it sees it as, oh, this is a little bit spammy, trying to get people to increase organic reach or something like that. So I think it strangles the organic reach on that. So I think we probably won't be doing that anymore. and perhaps
No.
trying to find a way around that. But I think there's a lesson to be learned for anyone who is considering running competitions or anything like that. That there seems to be a noticeable drop on organic reach when you're talking about tagging people. Maybe there isn't, but just from that, just from that small data set, that's something I'm pondering.
Yeah, I think it's a good point as well to think about as well. So if we move on, we had Greg telling us that he's blogged twice this week because of the encouragement that we've put on the group recently. So obviously, if you're not a member, you're missing out on that, which is really good to hear that
And
people are doing that. And then
there's
go on,
exciting blogging news as well. So
indeed.
the live next Monday is our second live training event where I'll be taking the lead and talking to you and teaching you how to write blog titles that will actually make people read your blogs. And this is in partnership with the release of our new unit, which I have again taken the lead on, which is how to write wedding blogs that people will actually read. If you're a Wild member, you will already have access to this, as it was the release this morning, I think. Or is that? I
No,
think I
it
put
should.
out.
It might be. I don't know. That's a good
I,
question.
I either put out on the 7th or the 9th. I can't remember which it is. So if you're listening to this on the 9th, it was definitely out this morning. If you're listening to it live, it might not be. So, but I'm not sure how many of our Wild members are actually listening anyway. But it's out the following week for those who are not members of Wild. So. Yeah, that's talking to you about exactly the process I go through to write my wedding blogs, why you should listen to me about wedding blogging, and lots of hints and tips. And I think Jack learnt basically everything I put out there because he knew none of it. Um,
Yeah,
and
I don't. So I don't write my blogs. Other people write my blogs for me because I just know that it's not my area of expertise. So yeah, I learned a lot from what Chris had to say. So I can thoroughly recommend it when it comes out next week.
Ross has made a good
Um,
point.
yeah, I've just liked that. I think that's quite interesting that perhaps the way we phrased it didn't help our tagging thing. So making it sound like the businesses needed help. That's a good point that we will certainly take on board. Thank you, Ross. We then, of course, had my birthday last week.
Happy birthday, Jack.
It's all right. Thank you.
13.
30, the big 1-3. I know.
Did did
I
did you
know.
did you get a razor? So because you'll
I, d-
start
I,
shaving soon.
one day, I'm hoping one day I'll get there. No,
Did
but I
you?
got to stay up. I got to stay up till 10.
Wow.
I know.
And did you get any presents for your birthday?
Why are you doing this to me? Yes, I did.
What did you
I
get?
got I got some very nice presents. I got a couple of new shirts.
Hmm.
I got a couple of vouchers. I got a really cool little, and this is going to sound really sad, but I got a really cool puzzle book that uses riddles and puzzles and keys and that kind of thing. It's a really good little book that I'm working my way through at the moment. Very difficult, but really good. Um,
Anything else?
I can't think. I can't think of anything else, Chris.
Did you get any hot beverage receptacles?
Oh, now you mention it. Yes, I did get a hot beverage receptacle. I received in the post anonymously. I have no idea who sent it to me. I feel certain it was Chris, but he is adamant it's not him. And I have no idea who else could have sent it. But someone sent me a mug that says "For my best friend" on it, and it
That's
is
your
flesh coloured.
that's your first sign it wasn't from me.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, it's a very light shade of pink, and inside said mug, sticking out of the bottom, is a penis.
Oh, whoever sent that's a legend. Oh, amazing. I'm disappointed. I told you to bring it on the live, and you is it next? Oh, you can't reach off camera like that as if you're picking it up, and then only bring back a glass of water. But yes, you had your birthday, which was obviously very exciting for you. What happened? What else happened on the group? It was very
I'm just running through the things that happened here, things that we don't particularly need to talk about, such as welcoming our new lovely members.
well. We've broken the 400 mark. We're up to
We have,
415,
that's true.
which is exciting, and we're kind of growing at an average of like 2 members a day. So it's it's not quite exponential, but there are more people joining all the time. So, and we appreciate everyone who joins in, and would love to hear from more of you. So yes. And then there was a post of me throwing a petrol bomb into the middle of the group about a screenshot of a. When
We
was
haven't
that?
got to that yet.
We haven't got to that yet.
So yeah. So then we had my favourite thing about the Wedding Industry Wisdom group is, and then lots of people saying lots of lovely things about us. There weren't really any questions that going on in there, so we'll skim straight through that. You got some new brochures.
Oh, shall I bring one live on camera?
Bring one like, oh, how exciting! That'll be really riveting listening for the podcast listeners.
You can describe them. I'm going to have to take my earphones. I will be 20 seconds, maybe 15.
Okay.
It's exciting.
I don't really know why Chris feels this is necessary to do, but Chris did get some new brochures, and we will actually ask it. We'll ask him a question about the brochures because he got them for the wedding fair he did on Sunday. So we will find out whether he felt they helped him or not. So, Chris, your wedding brochures, you got them for this Sunday wedding fair, didn't you? That you did on Sunday. That was the main reason you got them delivered in time for that.
I did, yes.
Yes. Did you feel like they helped, or did they give you extra? What did you feel like there was any benefit to having them over, not having them?
They smell amazing.
That doesn't really answer my question, Chris.
It doesn't answer your question. It's a difficult thing to judge based upon that fair because it was nice and steady anyway. There was no one. There's no one particularly went, oh goodness me, this is a fantastic brochure. I feel like I must book you instantly. But what I'm very almost self-deprecating and very jovial with my sales pitch. So yeah. I was flicking through saying, look, there's people happy here, there's loads of words, look, and they're all great. And then there's even more happy people here, so you should probably book me. And it says I can make it even better. It even says it in bold, look, to draw your attention to it. And there's packages there. They cost lots of money. Don't worry about that part. And then look, she's pretty and she's really happy. And she said a really lovely thing. So I like using the brochure as a sales tool, whereas I think a lot of people will go, "I'll have a brochure," and then that's it. So I use my banners, I use my brochures as part of what I'm doing because it then draws more attention to it. Because I think a lot of people will stand at their stand and go, "Would you like a flyer? Would you like a flyer?
Yeah. Would
you like a flyer?" And it's just like, what? I want to draw people's attention to it. I want to talk them through points of it. So yeah, I genuinely am delighted with the quality. Thank you so much for the recommendation. And because obviously all these pages were designed individually, but when you look at the back spine, they've lined that up perfectly.
Almost like they knew what they were doing.
Almost like they knew what they were doing, and I didn't mess up the design work. But yeah, they feel great, they look great, they smell great.
Do you feel like they gave you extra confidence, perhaps, whilst you were at the fair?
Well, I didn't dislike my last ones. I just knew that my new ones were much better. So yeah, the other thing is people were coming and saying, "Oh, can I take a brochure, please?" And I'm like, "No, they're 50p each. I'm trying to make a profit on them, or they're free if you watch a card trick." So, because I don't want people just to take one of my brochures because I don't feel that I feel like there's literally, yeah, they're 41p or something like that. So it's not like I can't afford to give them away, but it is just literally throwing money down the drain. So if someone says, "Oh, can I take one?" I'm like, "No, you can't take one because I want to talk to you. I want to tell you what it's all about because that's the sales pitch is talking to me showing you some magic, telling you about the day." And then you take a brochure on and make a decision. Or if you're ready to close on the day, then I'll try and close you on the day. So,
yeah. You can take a brochure if you listen to the sales pitch.
Pretty much. Whereas, if it was a flyer, it's like, well, I'm not going to hang around to see a trick for a flyer. But where it looks more professional, more like a brochure, it seems like that has more worth, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, definitely.
but
Right.
then I was slightly off my tits, like I said. So I I could have just been really, really like rude and obstructive for all I know.
Possibly. So that
Possibly.
does move us on to the big one of the week, which was a post that you put on the group
Yep.
um, about someone who had made a comment in a different Facebook group, just to make it a little bit confusing. I'm guessing this is a potential bride, where she posted something that went along the lines of, "Can I just ask why so much? £1,000 for one day's work. A lot of people barely paid that for a whole month's work. What exactly warrants it costing £1,000? Surely the equipment has already been purchased. Film, I'm pretty sure, ain't required. Please explain, someone. There is no way I'll be able to afford that for my wedding, so I just won't bother."
So this is talking about a videographer, just if it wasn't immediately plain from that. Yeah, on that, I mean, the amount of comments that came in on this just showed how much of a kind of touch paper subject this is. And yeah, I got a lot of comments on the original post, which was on one of the Dorset wedding Facebook groups. And yeah, and then a lot of comments on the repost that I did about how angry it makes people and how they don't understand and whatever. And yeah, it's all very interesting.
What I
So
find interesting about this is, on her logic, this particular bride's logic, who I don't know the name of, and it's not particularly relevant either, is surely because she said, surely the equipment has already been purchased, all of that stuff. So if I was a videographer and I purchased a new video camera because I have to keep my equipment up to date, does that mean the next wedding I have to charge the price of the video camera, so I don't have to charge anyone else for the price of the video camera?
absolutely right. No, I
Right.
mean
Okay.
the whole thing is utterly flawed. I mean, like I I think there's three things you can do about this. Number one, you choose to completely ignore it, and I think that's what most people should probably do. Number two is you can do something about it, and it's very clear that people require education about certain things within the wedding industry, within a lot of things, but within the wedding industry. So, you can educate them, or the third option is you get involved in the mudslinging match of getting into the comments and trying to explain this and that and the other, and you're never going to get anywhere. So I went through the comments just purely out of intrigue, just to see what people were saying, and I could just see videographers commenting on it, getting increasingly more annoyed about the fact that she was not understanding why they have to charge for this and this and that and the other and whatever. Bearing in mind that 1,000 is actually pretty cheap for a videographer as well. So yeah, I decided that I would be the person to do something about it. So as of today, I released a new blog called "Why the
Ooh, what's it
Not."
called?
It's called "Why the Fudge Are Photographers So Expensive?" So I thought I'd go down the photographer route because photographers are more used than videographers, but exactly the
Sure.
same thing applies to videographers as well. But yeah, it's interesting because I think that there are a few blogs out there like that, but it's always a photographer saying, "Why do I charge so much?" Or it's a magician saying, "Why do I charge so much?" I think Stephen might put a thing on saying, "Why do magicians charge so much?" And although I think that that's all been said with the right attitude, it doesn't come across well if you're a photographer that's explaining why photographers charge so much, because it just seems entirely biased. Whereas I think myself as a magician explaining why photographers charge so much is probably going to hold a bit more water with people reading it, because as I'm apparently unbiased upon it. So basically, I took part of her argument as well as a whole bunch of other things, and explained why I used the notional amount 1,500 quid and said why they charge that much, because people missed a lot of points in there about, tax and national insurance and stuff like that. Because, let's say, let's ignore, I know you can't ignore, let's ignore the fact that you have a personal allowance of what, 12,000 now, 11,500. If you're earning 40 grand a year, or up to 40 grand a year, you're paying 9% national insurance on profits over 8.5 grand, and you're paying 20% income tax on anything over the 12 grand. So that 1,500 quid almost instantly becomes 1,065. I know that's not,
Yeah.
I know that's not precise because you can't just ignore personal allowance, but just putting those figures into perspective, instantly you're losing 300 or 400 quid just on the tax that you've got to pay on that income. But then I break down every little bit about it, shared it with a few wedding photographers, checked that what I'm saying is accurate, and they're loving it. So that's what I decided to do about it, rather than get dragged into the comments on it. I go, look, here's a educational piece. And what I think is going to be interesting about this is something I'm going to promote as one of my blogs within my own advertising. Is, like I said earlier about trying to convince people from no's to yeses, this is not going to convince a single person who wants to pay 500 quid for their photographer to then book a more expensive photographer. What it is going to do is going to take the people who are going, and maybe making them want to pay more money. So that's a good thing to do. And the other thing it's going to do is it's going to take the people who have spent 1,500 quid, 2,000 pounds, 3,000 pounds on their photographers, and they are going to feel utterly, completely vindicated by their decision to do so. So that's going to help them as well. And it's those people in the two higher brackets who are the people who I want to be talking to, who I want to be on my site, who I want to be reading it. So, it will attract traffic who like, well, why do they charge so much? Never going to change their minds, but the people who are going to change their mind or have already made that decision is going to help them. And the hope is it's then also going to get shared by a lot of photographers, and then get seen by people who have already booked them.
Yeah, and people who are at that point and are looking at that and going, oh, that's quite interesting, are then probably, and then taking on those points, are probably more likely to then go on and inquire with you, or are prepared to expect a higher fee from you, because they're going, well, you obviously know what you're talking about, you will do all this stuff as well. But just to kind of take it back a step, the problem is the majority of the population, almost every employee, anyone who is an employee, has no concept as to what it's like to work for yourself or run a business, and the fees and the costs that go into that. And there's a really interesting podcast. I've just found it. I've just popped it up here. I was listening to it this morning, in fact. It's the Mike Winnett podcast, and it's the latest one by James Sinclair, with James Sinclair. It's an interview. For those of you who don't know who James Sinclair is, he was a magician, kids magician, turned a... he now runs children's play areas and that kind of stuff, and has a big farm that he runs and all that kind of thing. So he's now a very successful entrepreneur. It has like 12 odd million pounds worth of turnover every year. And he talks about this, is that people complain at him and his company all the time as to why his play centres are so expensive. But he has, just in business rates alone, he pays £60,000 a month on, £65,000 a month on business rates. Obviously, we as individuals and small businesses don't have that level of expense, but we have expenses that Joe Bloggs has no idea about. So those kind of people you're probably never going to convince. If you're running your business properly, you're going to have expenses they won't know about. They are probably after people who don't run their business properly in the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
Who are weekend warriors, who are just doing it for a bit of fun, or are just plain out, frauding the government and aren't declaring everything properly. There are those are kind of people. Those people are probably going to be booking. So you just have to accept that and go, you know what, you're not the right client for me. The people who are prepared to understand or have an understanding or just are happy to pay, those are the people you want to be spending your time with, rather than wasting time trying to convince someone who you're never going to be able to convince. Because ultimately, even if you are in the right, you will still come off looking bad, because you will be the one, you are still being able to be read as bitching or wasting your time, doing all these things. You're better off to just ignore it, not spend any time on it, and carry on doing what you're already doing.
Yeah, completely. And I think that, if you just take it, I think if I was a videographer and I was reading that comment, my first thought would be, would I like to work for the person who is writing this comment? Um, and unless you really do, I'd just be taking a big step away from that. But I'm I'm strongly of the belief that it's not what happens to you; it's how you react to those circumstances, which defines how happy you are. And so there was several people commenting on that, saying, "Oh my God, that grinds my gears so much," or whatever, or they're saying they were triggered. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do about it? What's your actual plan? So for me, I was like, well, I think this has inspired me to write something useful. Whereas the people who've done nothing, they're probably still a bit bothered about it, haven't done anything to improve the situation, and all it's done is just wind them up. So, just whenever any sort of obstacle comes along or like something that winds you up, think about what you can do differently or what you can take out of that situation to, enhance your business. Which I kind of think sort of brings us on to what I was talking to you about earlier with this cancellation. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I still haven't worked out what to do about this. So,
Okay, you can talk about it. You can talk about it if you like.
yeah,
I think just before you do, I think that this has been perfectly summed up in the comments by a wild member called Liam Ball, who said there are so many things wrong with this, and none of them are the price.
yeah,
And I
remember
think
that
he's
comment
bang
now.
on there. Yeah.
Yeah, nailed it. Is there anything else on the group we need to catch up with before I kind of regale? Well, not regale. It's not.
There is one thing, but we'll come on to it at the end.
Okay. Yeah, so I earlier today I had a phone call from the father of a bride, and I've spoken to him a little bit because he was thinking about booking me for the hen party as well as the wedding, and I said to him that don't book me for the hen party as well, keep me as just for the wedding because it'll be better that way. Anyway, I said, "Oh, how are you?" And he said, "Oh, not very good." And I was like, "Oh, this is not a good start to the conversation." And cut a long story short, um, the wedding is in 31 days' time, something like that, and the groom's decided that he doesn't want to be here anymore and has walked out on her, so the wedding's off. So I took a 10% deposit. My contract states that they owe me 75% of the thing. If they let me know tomorrow, it would have been 100%, but it's a 75%. Lovely woman, dad's nice as pie as well. They owe me hundreds and hundreds of pounds based upon my contract. What do you do? It's one of those difficult situations where I would dearly love just to say, you know what, don't worry about it. However, financially, I could do with that money. I'm not struggling, but I've had to cancel work because of my back. I've had, lots of expenses because of my back as well, appointments and things like that. So it's like, well, I have bills to pay still. I have you kind of, what work's coming in, and then you base your expenditure and your cash flow around what sort of cash flow you're expecting to come in. So it's one of those difficult ones because I don't want to be a douchebag about it, but at the same time, the money would be helpful. I mean, the walls are by no means at the door, but like I said, you plan your expenditure around what cash flow you're expecting, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, what do people think? Not many comments
Yeah, I'd be
tonight. So.
interested to know what other people would do in this situation. I mean, we had this discussion earlier after you'd come off the phone. You and I was when we both finished phone calls, we called each other to discuss this very thing. Hi, Bryony, how are you? Um,
You just missed
and
us bitching about that videographer post, so you have to listen back to that. But yeah, you just missed that. Sorry, yeah, Jack, carry on.
yeah, yeah. So in that situation, I feel like there's obviously the deposit. I feel like the deposit is yours, and that's kind of secure. I wouldn't worry about that too much. I mean, the £100 or whatever it is that you're
Yeah.
talking about is negligible, really, for them
Yeah.
in relation to what's going on at the moment. Um, but the hard thing is that your contract, if I remember correctly, and everything you've done in terms of contact with them has been with the bride's family.
Yeah, it's been
You've got
she.
no contact with the groom at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, they booked me at the at a wedding fair. They were both there, both really excited about it. She took the lead on it. She signed the contract. So it's been her that I've been corresponding with. So yeah, it's a difficult one, I think. I mean,
Yeah, I think. Go on.
I phoned the venue because I'm very well connected with the venue that it's at, and even the wedding coordinators, like, we don't know what to do because they've not paid the final balance for the venue either, because there were still a few things they hadn't quite decided upon yet. So I mean, the wedding coordinator's saying, "Oh, I just don't want to charge him any more money because I feel so bad for her." But she thinks she's and saying, "I think my line manager's going to go, sorry, you owe the full amount." Um, be interesting to see what because the question I asked Jack was, well, what's the point in this contract if I'm then not going to enforce it? I mean, I've had cancellations before, but these are normally cancellations when it's people said, yeah, I've just found out my partner's got cancer, or my dad's just died, or something like that. In which case I go, seriously, don't give it another second thought. Here's your deposit back. I wish you well. you know,
Mm.
sorry to hear about what's going on, whatever. I mean, at that stage, it's one of the things we go, you know what, money doesn't matter. Now, I'm not saying that a breakup isn't emotional, heart-wrenching, or whatever, but it's not quite the same situation. So,
Yeah, and I feel like if you were in the situation where the contract and you'd been dealing with the groom just to more of an extent, and the contract was signed by the groom, then I would be, or the ex-groom, I suppose now, um, I would be inclined to perhaps invoice him for the amount because ultimately the buck falls with him in this situation because he's the one who's run off. Although you also don't know his side of the story,
yeah, we don't
to
know
be
the
fair.
circumstances.
We don't know the circumstances of it. You just know that he no longer wants to marry her.
Yeah,
But if, given the information you currently have, he's at fault. You feel like you should probably invoice him for it and get him
yeah,
to pay. But you don't know the entire circumstances surrounding it. I mean, I told you my opinion. My opinion would be to just leave it. But I also appreciate I haven't spent the hundreds, if not thousands of pounds you've spent on keeping your back sane in the last, and the thousands of pounds you've lost in work that you've had to cancel because of your back. So you're in a very different position to that to I'm in. So
yeah.
it does make it hard to kind of find the right answer.
I mean, the chances are that I'm probably just gonna go, never mind, because I'm that
Mm.
kind of person. I think other people are a little bit more. Um, I don't want to say
Forceful.
forceful. That's a nice word. Um, but yeah, I think that it's if the wolves were at the door, it would be it would be a different scenario. I think,
Yeah.
and but I think that it's the sort of thing I'm trying to take the lesson from it, and I haven't worked out what the lesson is yet. I think that sometimes you just have to go take a bigger deposit, maybe. I don't know.
I suppose you could argue that the lesson to learn potentially is to get them both to sign the contract,
Yeah, potentially.
if you wanted to look at it that way. Um, so that you could, if you felt the need to enforce the contract, depending obviously on the circumstances and that kind of thing, you'd be able to enforce it on the right person. Potentially, that's the lesson to learn here.
Well, I could double check whose account the deposit came from because that would be more legally binding than the contract itself. Who paid the deposit,
Yeah.
potentially. But yeah, I mean, if it was like I said, if the wolves were at the door, it was a different situation, then I'd probably be enforcing it. But the chances are that I will just well, I'll try and fill the date. I'm also waiting to hear what the venue are going to do
Mm.
because they if they're going to turn around and say, "Oh, don't worry about it," then it would be very weird if I was to not.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're going to enforce it, then I'll probably go, "Geez, they're paying X thousands of pounds for nothing, and I'm asking them for another grand or whatever." So
Yeah.
yeah, toughy. Not all. See, this is the thing. Even when you've been in business for however many years, you're still going to have these curved balls thrown at you from time to time, and the answer isn't always immediately obvious. I think that the most important thing that I think to take from these learnings is that whenever anything happens, don't make a decision whilst you're still emotional about it. I mean, I'm a very stoical person, and I process my emotions pretty quickly. Don't get like overawed by too much, so I can. That's something I've practiced doing. But if you're the sort of person that's very quick to anger, don't let your decision be defined by that emotion, because your instant thought is probably going to not be the best version of you. So yeah, take your time to process the decisions, process your emotions, so that the decision you make is one that the normal, calm version of yourself is happy with.
And yeah, and the thing is, 95% of the time, when you're faced with any kind of decision, certainly in business, certainly in the wedding industry, your problem is less than the client's problem. Certainly in this situation. So if you say, that's fine, I'll get back to you and work out what needs to, or whatever it is you said, I don't know what you said on the phone, they're fine. They will understand that because you're the least of their problems. What the magician does, they don't care about. They've currently got to deal with the fact that the fiance has walked out 30 days before the wedding. So you're the least of their worries. If you need to take some time to stop being in the emotional state that you're currently in, that is okay. Because I know when I first spoke to you about it, you had a different opinion to the one you have now because you were still relatively fresh off the call.
Yeah.
And now you've had some time, you've had a time to process it, think about what you might want to do. So, it does. The time definitely helps with this situation because it will allow you the opportunity to really think about it and process what you're doing and what you're going to do going forwards.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, I think that there was also the possibility that I was going to be investing in having some private back stuff done, but that ended up being far too expensive and not worthwhile. So I was thinking, well, I'm going to miss out on that, and then I've got to pay for this. But now I'm not going to have to pay for that because I'm not going to do it. So,
Right.
it's swings and roundabouts and stuff. So,
Yeah, definitely.
so yeah. The question is, why have we got this contract if we're not going to enforce it? I guess it's just security for them more than anything else, more than ends up
That's
being
what I said when
security
we
for
spoke
us.
about it earlier. Yeah, is it's about them knowing that you know what you're doing, essentially. That's what I feel like it is more than anything. I mean, I've never had to go anywhere near enforcing my contract ever. Occasionally, I've had one very, 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 very late payment, and that was not a wedding. That was a corporate event, and that's a very, very different story because it took them nearly 6 months to pay me after the initial 30-day invoice. But I feel like it's just security for the clients, for the potential brides and grooms. They just go, well, they've got a contract, they must know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I feel like that's its main purpose because I've never had to enforce it. You've never actually enforced your contract, sorry, and you're probably not on this occasion either, unless someone has any really bright ideas. Um, so I feel like it's just there for client security more than anything else.
yeah, I think so. I think that's the bottom line with it, really. I mean, the one time I would have enforced it, I was unable to. So,
Yeah,
but I learned a lesson from that, and like I said, that's what you got to do each time anything like this comes along. What's the lesson you're going to learn from it?
for sure.
So there we go. Did you say there was one more thing we hadn't covered from the?
There is one more thing, the very exciting thing that went on the group this morning about a free coaching call.
Oh yes, I'd forgotten about
Shock
that.
horror!
Us giving. Hang on a minute, Sarah. What time did you call this? Sourdough Sarah.
Sourdough Sarah is joining us at 8 minutes to 8. What time? Why would you schedule a client call for 8 minutes past 8? 8 minutes to 8, sorry. No, why would you? Yeah. Why would you do that?
I'm pretty sure she hasn't had a second long phone call. I'm presuming it was a client call scheduled for around 7. But still,
7,
why
or maybe even half 7.
maybe even half 7? But the question really is, Sarah, why would you schedule anything between 7 and 8 on a Monday when you know that we are going to be live on the group?
I'm just disappointed more than anything.
Yeah,
I'm not
I am.
upset. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. So.
So yeah, it's the opportunity to win a free coaching call.
Win? Is it
Win?
win?
Win? I feel like
Win.
it's a win because we have to pick someone.
Yeah.
We haven't given you any. There's no real competition for it. We haven't got any. You don't have to do anything. You just have to message us. There is an opportunity to win a free coaching call with Chris and I. These are usually valued at £100. This particular one will be 100% free. There are a couple of strings attached. You have to message Chris or I or the page to find out how you can get hold of one and what the strings are. They're not very big strings. They're just little tiny things that we want to do, but it is completely free.
You're making it sound really untoward.
It does, doesn't it? No, can I take that entire thing back? Can we edit that out of the podcast so that no one ever hears that bit? And I just go, there are a couple of strings attached. Just drop us a message and we'll tell you all about it.
No. It's my turn to edit. I'm leaving that in.
Balls.
Yes. I'm going to say it in a less creepy way.
Chris, what is this about a free coaching call?
We're offering a free coaching call to someone. There are a couple of provisos for it. If you're interested in being the person that has this, drop us a message and we'll let you know the terms and conditions of it. You see, no creepiness at all. Not about strings and attachments and how thick the strings are. What the bloody hell are you talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I had a moment.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you. I think you need a cup of tea.
I tell you what, I should have put it in my nice new mug.
Your nice new mug. I think Sarah sent it. If she did. I've just realised something, Jack.
What?
You said to me that you thought it was me or Lawrence because we're the only people that know your address.
That I'm aware of, yeah.
I've just realised that at the bottom of every Wedding Industry Wisdom email that goes out, because of the fact you have to have an address, your address is at the bottom of every one of those emails.
So it could be anyone from our... I'm now going to go through our list of people who have subscribed to us and find out all really great information about us and some free content and all that stuff, which you should definitely sign up for, by the way, if you're not already. Head to weddingindustrywisdom.co.uk. I'm going to have to go through that list now and find the person who I think is sending me penis mugs.
What? There's been another.
No, okay, fine, just the one. Maybe. Oh no, that now you know what you've done, don't you?
Oh, I hope I have. I really hope I have.
Everyone on the list. If everyone on the list sends me a penis mug, I will cry.
Please, everyone, send Jack a penis mug. They can't be that expensive. They're gonna be less than a tenner, surely.
It's awful quality, so I can't imagine it is expensive.
Oh wow, yeah. If you're on the mailing list, then Jack's address is at the bottom of the emails. Buy him a penis mug and send it to him. Oh my God, please do that. It will make the back pain worth it. That's how much I want this to happen. And if you do that, and you we want you to do it anonymously, actually, because I was going to say,
just so you're going to cause me torment for the next couple of weeks.
I don't think I've ever wanted anything more. I'm delighted. I feel like we should close this off more professionally than talking about people sending Jack penis mugs.
Really? I feel like that just sums us up, really. It sums up exactly what we do.
Yeah, so buy our stuff.
Yeah, if you want to find out more about what we do, who we are, and all that kind of stuff, then go to weddinghistorywisdom.co.uk. You can sign up to our mailing list. You'll find out my home address, and you'll be able to send me penis mugs, or anything else if you want, as long as it's nice. And you will get
Cash.
some free content. Cash, all that'd be nice, wouldn't it? It was my birthday, so that would be nice if anyone wants to know.
Everyone buy Jack a penis mug for his birthday. Belated birthday present.
Thank you, everyone. Um, so, yep, you can find everything out there. You can sign up to the mailing list. You can head over to courses, and that is where all of our courses are. Everything that we teach is available to purchase there. You can get our most popular product, my highly converting email series, follow-up series. You can also get some of Chris's products. Yeah. You can also purchase a coaching call if you don't want a free one. I don't know why you would, but
Get a
you
free
can
one.
also, yeah,
There's
you might as
really
well apply
creepy.
for the free
There's
one.
really creepy strings attached.
Oh, I regret saying that now. You can
No,
also find out about membership when it becomes available. It's currently closed, but we will be opening it again. I'm saying that officially. I don't know if I discussed that with Chris, but I am saying we're definitely opening it again. This is just what I like to do for you guys. So you can subscribe to find out when that will be, and you'll be the first to know. And that's about it. You can.
and also, if you have joined us late, if you do join the mailing list, then as soon as the podcast version of this is live, you will get an email letting you know that that is the case. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think that
Within
works
within
now.
24 hours.
We had some issues with it, but I think it's working now. So yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so join us again next Monday, where it is our second live training, where we're talking
Woo!
about the absolutely riveting topic of writing blog titles. I mean, the tension is palpable.
I can barely contain myself. I imagine people are now setting a reminder for 7 o'clock on Monday to make sure they are here to learn all about wedding blog titles that will get people to actually click them and read them that aren't clickbaity.
Well, just to drop an absolute brag bomb. Is that a thing?
A brag bomb? Yeah.
If it isn't, it is now. Um, when when we recorded the wedding blog unit, which was relatively recently, I thought, you know what, I was going to double check my stats and make sure that people do actually read my blogs before I actually say how to write wedding blogs that people actually read.
Yeah.
And we discovered that one of my blogs, which I've not promoted in any way, shape, or form, has been has on an average read time this year of 9 minutes and 7 seconds, and that's from over 450 odd reads or something, isn't it? So
Yep.
450 people have organically found that blog and stayed on it for an average of 9 minutes and 7 seconds. That means that some people have been on there for longer than that. That's insane. That's how good I am at writing blogs. I feel like I should
Brag
dab or
bomb.
something. Brag bomb.
Mic drop.
Brag bomb in your face.
Dab. Do it. Oh God. I can't believe you actually did that.
I dabbed when I collected my degree on stage.
I saw.
It was amazing. And
Oh God, right, okay, we'll be back next week, same time, same everything, 7 o'clock on Monday, where you'll be able to find out all about writing wedding blog titles that people will actually click and read.
yes, absolutely. And one final thing before we go, nearly forgot, send Jack penis mugs. That's all. Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.